From the earliest age of the Engineers Guild, the Dawi have forged machines of war. Wonders hewn of Gromril and gold. Trusted plans handed down through generations. Yet there are those who defy tradition. Cast out from the guild for his outlandish ideas, Malakai Makaisson now seeks to regain his honor. His Slayer oath to be fulfilled through iron, grit, and glory.
Who am I? Only the greatest dwarf engineer that ever lived. Who are you?
Don't you love how fantasy dwarves always have a Scottish accent? Okay, so welcome to the what's going to be the Malachi campaign here. Now, a quick note on some of the other campaigns. I am still, the ones that we already have going, I'm still working on trying to get them running. It does appear as though the Nurgle campaign is definitely bricked. There's nothing to be done about Nurgle. I tried it even in vanilla. You can't load, well, you can load, but you don't want to load old campaigns pre 5.0 in Thrones of Decay after that has dropped with Nurgle because plagues won't work. There's a few other issues as well, but that's the big one. The dwarves, on the other hand, seem like they might be possible to get working, but I'm not positive about that. It does look as though the Age of Reckoning mechanic is not working correctly when you load in a new campaign. Almost everything else does seem to be okay, so that's really the hold up there on that. The other two campaigns that we have going, or actually other three, the two Skaven campaigns and the Khazrak campaign, they look like they may be able to get working, but I am waiting for an update to the evolving faction names mod in order to test that out, because that right now appears to be not working. So anyway, on to Malachi. So while we're waiting for all of those to find out for sure whether or not we'll be able to continue with those, I decided to go ahead and start up a second Thrones of Decay campaign, and I think it makes sense since we know we're not going to be able to continue Thorek, or at least it appears that way. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and test out Malachi. Now, quick word on Malachi here. I'm going to go ahead and read his lore here in a second. And I'm assuming that we're going to get a cinematic for him, so again, I'm going to cut that and put it to the beginning of this video. But unfortunately, you have to listen to me talk for about another minute before we jump into the campaign itself. So the thing about Malachi is I don't know very much about him. In fact, I'm coming into this campaign blind, except for just a few snippets that I've heard about the updates to the dwarves. Like, I know the grudges have been replaced with the Age of Reckoning, and I know they've gotten a few new units or whatever. I'm deliberately coming into this blind because I kind of want to learn it as I go. And I also want to point out this is probably going to be a campaign that I lose. I expect to lose this campaign, and I'll explain why in a moment. But anyway, I know that Malachi is a crazy Slayer engineer. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like a fantasy Archimedes, where he's creating all kinds of battle weaponry to fight off, in the case of Archimedes, the Romans. Did not go well for him. And in this case, obviously, in the fantasy world, all of the enemies are the dwarfs. But I'm looking forward to kind of learning these mechanics. I'm glancing right now, and I see that he's giving buffs to artillery and flying war machines, which is pretty cool. I would have thought that maybe he had something to buff Slayers as well, but it doesn't look like it. But that's fine. I'm not great with Slayers anyway, so maybe he buffs them in his skill tree. But it probably wouldn't be a bad thing for me to not just make an army of all Slayers and artillery, because that doesn't seem like the most effective way to go. But that does kind of lead me into the way that I am expecting to play Malachi, which is as a crazy Slayer engineer. I am going to play him as a crazy Slayer engineer, which basically means as a Slayer, he is supposed to be seeking death in battle, which means looking for foes to fight, and if he dies gloriously in combat, now so be it. Now, of course, he is a legendary lord, so if he gets wounded in combat, we know he's going to come back. But thematically, I think it makes sense for him to basically be looking for battles, even really difficult ones, and going ahead and fighting them. So my plan for this campaign with Malachi is, if there's an enemy, he's going to be basically a berserker. If there's an enemy close enough to attack with his army, he's going to attack it. Basically, period, end of sentence. Maybe we'll sort of massage that a little bit as we go along, but I'm going to have to be very careful on the campaign map about getting him close to enemies, because if they're close enough to attack, he's going to attack them, regardless of how strong they are. So he is going to spend a lot of time recovering from wounds, I have a feeling, which is going to be obviously very much impacted by the Wounded Lord timer mod that we're using, which is that Wounded Lords are now going for 10 turns instead of the usual 5 or whatever it is in vanilla. Okay, just really quickly then touching on the other mods that we're using. It's going to be the same set of mods that I'm using for the Tamurkhan campaign, which is basically a way to try to make more meaningful strategy. In fact, I'm going to bundle these mods into a collection and basically call it something like the Meaningful Strategic Mod Collection, because with slowing down the campaign movement speed, with reducing the casualty replenishment, particularly for dwarfs, it's going to be very impactful. The strengthening of the garrisons, things like that. What we're basically trying to do is we're trying to make strategy more impactful and make things a lot less of just a turn after turn, relentless steamrolling from the very beginning of the game. Most of you who have seen my campaigns before already pretty much get the gist of that. So onwards to the lore here. I'm just going to read this out loud because theme is important to me, and I'm not, beyond what I've already said, I'm really not that familiar with the lore of Malachi. So, once a prodigiously gifted engineer of the renowned Engineers Guild, Malakai Makaisson, is that how you say it? Now serves as a slayer, bearing the shame of a tumultuous and tragic past. As the creator of the ironclad Unsinkable and the airship Indestructible, which both malfunctioned with devastating results, he carries the weight of numerous dwarfs' deaths on his shoulders, resulting in his ejection from the Engineers Guild. In the wake of the tragedies, Makaisson took the Slayer Oath, though his days of tinkering and invention are not yet behind him. He continues his craft, building wonders such as the Spirit of Grungni and the infamous Goblin Hewer, in the hopes that one day his shame will be expunged in either triumph or glorious death. Okay, well, you can scrap the triumph part because we're seeking glorious death with this particular playthrough. Okay, on the map, he starts out up here. This is sort of Chaos Dwarf. Not Chaos Dwarf. Chaos Waste area, Frozen Wastes up here. This is, just a little bit north of Throth the Unclean, I believe, right? So this is previously Norskin territory. Okay, I think that's, yeah, I guess we might as well just go over the settings. Again, Legendary, very hard, as we normally do. I'm not changing the in-game stuff. Basically everything that we normally do. I'm going to this time click Iron Man mode because I found out, since I didn't click that on my Tamurkhan campaign, I was having to save manually, which is a little bit of a, not that big of a deal, but not what I'm used to. So, okay, enough said. Let's go ahead and dive right in to a campaign that we are probably destined to lose. It's okay. I actually kind of enjoy learning the mechanics and thinking of ways that it'll be better my second time around. So this is my first time around. There's going to be lots of mistakes.
Let's get started. We've got some serious work to do.
Yes, we do indeed have some serious work to do. Okay, path to victory. Malakai Makaisson is both slayer and engineer who embarks upon deadly adventures using the might of the legendary spirit of Grungni. Okay, so this is a new mechanic that I'm going to have to learn, these adventures. Malakai's adventures, okay. Pushing his engineering innovations to new heights as he seeks his desired doom. Progressing through Malakai's adventure missions upgrades specific war machines and leads to unique legendary battles against formidable enemies while also potentially granting the benefits of the Dwarf's Age of Reckoning. Completing the legendary battles of Malakai's adventures will earn the Masters of Innovation their campaign victory. Oh, okay. Alright, so we don't have to do a domination victory. Okay, learn more about dwarfs here. We already know a little bit about dwarfs. Summon the Spirit of Grungni to fight in battle. The Spirit of Grungni is a wonder to behold, built by the sweat of your own brow. It is time oh, okay, so the Spirit of Grungni is a thunder barge. Okay. Is called into action and launched headlong into the heat of battle. The Spirit of Grungni may be called upon in battle by Malakai's army via a special ability that can be improved by upgrading airship buildings. Okay, sounds good. Learns more about the Spirit of Grungni here. We'll look at that later. More crew, that gives us airship crew growth. That sounds suspiciously like horde growth. Oath gold plus 100. Defeat an army belonging to the following faction in battle. Magath Kin, okay. Alright, our enemies gather to strike against us, of course. Yes, very, very good. We already know about Magath Kin. I once played Magath Kin as a playable faction using a mod. They were quite enjoyable. Okay, let's get started. We've got some serious work to do. Yes, we already know that. So does that mean that this faction is a horde faction? Malakai Makaisson? Airship building panel. Yeah, you're a horde. Well, okay, so we also have Crack and Drac, of course. Okay, so we're basically Vampire Coasts. We have both horde and settlements. Fair enough. Okay, that's fine. We can deal with that. So we got Doom Seekers here. Dual axe infantry, armor piercing, anti-infantry, fast for a dwarf, death blow. What's the difference between a Doom Seeker and a Slayer? Not sure. Those of you who know the lore better than I do, feel free to comment on that. Okay, so, and we start out with Gotrek and Felix. Okay, so Gotrek, legendary hero. This is good. You are quite strong. And Felix, you, armored AP anti-infantry, you are quite strong. And of course, Malachi, you're a missile specialist. So these are my melayers. He's my missile. So probably what I'm going to want to do very early in this campaign is get a second Lord going, so that when Malachi gets himself wounded and gets his army wiped out, we have another army that can still do things. So we'll see how that goes. Now, hopefully, I don't get wiped out in the first turn. Recruit grudge settlers. By the way, so this, let me really quickly mention this. When I loaded into the Thorak campaign, I was able to load the campaign. I dropped all the cosmetic mods. I scaled back some of the non-essential mods, but the game loaded in just fine. This mechanic up here appeared to be not functioning, which is a bit of an issue, obviously, for the dwarfs. So, and the most of the other things actually looked okay. The tech tree seemed to translate okay over. It remembered which technologies we had already researched. Even though the tree itself looks different, it did remember, you know, there's a one-for-one correspondence with a lot of the things that we had already researched. But anyway, my advice to anybody who had started a dwarf campaign is probably not going to work for you if you try to load in the old one. So we got speed for infantry units. We got the Way of the Guilds. I think for starters we're going to take marching songs because speed is going to be good for us. Now, presumably have to be in... No, it's let me do it regardless of my stance. Okay, so... Or at least At least just being in the normal stance. So I don't have to worry about that just yet. I got cannons, gyrocopters. I never finished looking at my army. Okay, so I really have very little in the way of front line. I have these Doom Seekers who are only a 32 model unit. And then I've got my my 2 heroes, and that's my front line. Oh well, that's fine. Let's check out our diplomacy here. We're strength rank 68. We have a non-aggression pact with Boris.
Demon Slayer.
So that's interesting. And also with Tsarina Katerine. Okay, so that's good. Maybe we can get some trade going with her. That would be good. I'm certainly okay with remaining friends with the 2 of them. Aisling here is actually improving a little bit, and it looks like Magath Kin is the only faction we're at war with. They are not quite as strong as us. They have 2 settlements. Fair enough. Let me just really quickly do a quick deal. The Ice Court. I don't see any reason not to go ahead and do this right off the bat. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Alrighty, back to the initial battle here. We don't have any additional heroes to embed. We can't get any more instant recruitment to our army. Just wanted to double check that because I forgot to do it with Tamurkhan. And okay, what are we going to be fighting here? So a couple plague bearers, plague toads, don't see what else. And then, of course, Dung Rut himself.
What?
Okay. Decisive victory. Let's go ahead and take a look at the battlefield here. Okay. Obviously, since we've got a lot more missile units than they do, we're going to try to fight this in the open. I think what we'll do is we'll make maximum use of the cannons. We'll get at maximum range for the cannons to give the slow-moving Nurgle units as long of a field as possible to have to traverse before they get to us. So let's see where that exactly is. It looks like maybe from here we're still within range. Okay, let's go back even a little bit further. That'll work. Turn just a little bit here. There we go. Now we see their whole army. We're going to start out trying to hit the plague bearers, I think. Nurglings, Nurglings, Nurglings. And 3 units of plague bearers and Dung Rut. They might have some hidden units. I didn't count how many they had. Okay, let's go ahead and get you up on a hill. Let's get you guys kind of in a front line here. Let's get you guys where you can throw your blasting charges. And you get you up here. Did you say Slayers?
The clans unite! Killers! Slayers!
You did say Slayers. So Doom Seekers are considered a type of Slayers. Okay, fair enough. So just the gyrocopter then, and the gyrocopter brimstone gun. So you are flaming attacks. Okay. That'll be good, I think, against the plague bears. So let's go ahead and get moving up here. If we get to about here, we should be able to do some enfilading fire on their plague bears. Gottry, what is your range? Not super good. Okay. Yep, go ahead and do your thing with your brimstone guns there. What do you have in terms of special abilities? Okay, we'll do that when they get a little closer. What about Felix? You've got Karagul here. Flaming attacks, melee attack, and bonus versus infantry.
My axe thirsts.
And Rune Axe of Gotrek. Extra AP. Let's go ahead and let's move a little bit more this way. Kind of think maybe I want to continue to do enfilading fire. Okay, Gotrek, I'm sorry,
Malakai Makaisson.
Malachi, you're now close enough. Go ahead and you keep shooting them as well. Actually, no, start shooting him. Shooting a dung rut. Okay, they're all bundled up there, nice and tight. So let's hit them. Okay, we got some gunning going on there. Let's go ahead and get you, Felix, on dung rut here.
I suppose so.
He cast a spell on us, that's fine. Let's go ahead and get you around to the flank. And Gotrek, you can go ahead and get in on those Nurglings for now, and then you'll continue on to the others. Okay, Spirit of Grugni, here we go. Time to do this. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? What on earth are you doing? Okay, so I summoned him in. It looks like he's dropping bombs automatically. That suits me fine. You are doing okay here, except for the Plague Toads have kind of flanked us now. Let's go ahead and make sure that we've got... Okay, you guys keep hitting them. You hit them. Okay, what do we got? Spear of Grugni. Use it on them. And Thunderburner. Okay, Felix, you've taken some damage. Gotrek, you're doing okay. Cannons here. Go ahead and turn around. You can shoot them. Okay, what are you doing here? Why are you not doing anything? You are doing something. It just looked for a second like you weren't. Okay, there we go. This is good. Go ahead and get in on them. Looks like we've just about got this one. Dung Rut is the holdout. We want to make sure that we shoot the heck out of Dung Rut. You guys go ahead and finish off these Plague Bearers. Okay, a little bit oh, Felix is running away. That's not good. Okay, let's get you helping out over here. Felix, you can go ahead and... Actually, no, you got your ability back. Everybody on Dung Rut here. I assume you're on Dung Rut. Dung Rut is starting to fall to pieces here. Looks like we got this one. There we go. Okay, why is it not saying end battle? Now it is. Okay, not sure what the holdup was there. Okay, well, we took a little bit in the way of casualties, but I think we can recover from that. Going to have to remember that Felix is maybe a little bit more fragile, or it may have just been because he was going up against Dung Rut. Okay. So, we I'm going to go with the Oath Gold and the money.
This one's for Grimnir.
Engage the enemy. Mission successful. Mission successful. More crew. Okay. Rank gained. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, here's the question.
Malakai Makaisson.
Malachi can reach, so we know we're going to have to attack the settlement because it's within reach.
Alright.
And we are honor bound to attack anything that's within reach. So let's go ahead and give you Survivalist. That seems like a reasonable choice for you. Let's go ahead and give you Blade Master. And we'll give you Replenish Troops. Okay. So,
Did you see that?
what did we
lads?
get here? We got current Age of Reckoning progress, 11%. 10 turns until the next Age of Reckoning. Pending Age of Reckoning effects. Control, growth, upkeep. We've got total settled grudges here, 308. Malachi's Adventures will become accessible on turn 5. Okay.
What?
We have the money here to do something. We've got the resource building here. We've got a landmark that we can't build until we are at level 4. I think this is always an option for us to build the walls, but we're probably going to need growth, public order, and money, and casualty replenishment. Probably all of these things. So let's try... Prevents construction of the trading depot. So this is the trading depot. At the highest level, this gives us some Oath Gold and some income. This focuses more on straight up income. I think we're probably going to want this. We're going to go all out on income here. And the Great Book of Grudges. We do have 10 grudges here. Playing as the Dwarfs, the Great Book of Grudges panel allows you to browse your most important grudge objectives and the unique rewards of your grudge settling. I'm going to take a minute to read this because this is different than the old Great Book of Grudges. The book has 3 tabs containing legendary grudges, objectives, legendary lords confederated from settling grudges, and details of special grudge settlers, mercenaries rewarded by the Age of Reckoning. Okay, very interesting. Retake the realms. Be it written that the Council of Kings bore witness to this grudge declared by Thorgrim Grudgebearer. I'm not going to bore everybody in reading out all of this. Ensure dwarf factions control the following provinces, and the rewards are restores the Underway Network, Old World. Oh, that's right, the Underway Network. I'm looking forward to learning about that as well. And we get a bunch of settled grudges. The Legendary Grudges tab displays... blah, blah, blah. Yep, okay. Alright, there are multiple legendary grudges available. These buttons can be used to browse between them, okay. 4 or 5 legendary lords. The Legendary Lords tab allows you to confederate renowned dwarf lords once you have settled a number more grudges than them. The target amount is specified in the tooltips of each lord's confederate button. And finally, the Grudge Settlers tab displays a list of unique units that are added to your list of mercenaries as each Age of Reckoning is completed. Accept Elgi and become recruitable via the army panel. Left-clicking any card will display their stats and specializations. Okay. Done. So if I left-click on it, it's not giving me... oh, yeah, it's just showing me this over here. Okay, fair enough. All right, so Legendary Lords, we already know what they are. Okay, so I presume as the number of settlements goes up, then they're going to be harder to confederate, I would imagine. Okay, retake the realm. So we got 5 pages here. Okay, very interesting. Well, we'll do a little bit of this once we kind of get our feet under us, but we're not quite there yet. Okay. We've got our building being built. We have to now attack here. This is worth 341 grudges. We currently have 308, okay. Let's, let me just double check, make sure I didn't get anything that I want to assign first. We did not. Let's go for it.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. That's a good way to put it, okay. Should be a little bit easier than the previous fight, even though we're already dinged up. I'm kind of hoping it remembers my formation from before. And... Sort of. Sort of, okay. Let me just move. What's our current range? We're not quite within range. I guess I can't move any closer. No, I should be able to move. Oh, this is the problem. Okay. Yeah, let's get all of you guys a little closer. There we go. I'm surprised it was actually letting me start out all the way back there. Okay, let's go ahead and start battle. Cannons shoot at these plague bearers. You guys, again, inflating fire over here. With a little bit of luck, we won't need Felix to fight anything bigger than Nurglings. Oh, those are Nurglings. Why am I shooting at them? Okay, Thunders, get ready. What are you guys doing? Why are you not shooting? Oh my lord, it drives me insane. Drives me crazy. Okay. Hopefully that ridge line is not in our way. It might be. I'm going to back up a little bit here. Okay, yeah, it looks like they're able to shoot over the hill crest. That's good. Okay, let's go ahead and get you guys running forward. Felix, you can hang back. You guys can run forward. Gotrek, you can go ahead and engage them. Okay, my lord's under attack. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now shoot at these guys. I think we got things pretty well in hand here. Now you should be able to probably charge in and not get too beaten up. Gotrek, you're okay. You're probably taking some damage from friendly fire, but it's okay. Let's go ahead and get the summon here. Okay, now you guys aren't shooting. Not sure why that would be. Okay, I think that should just about do it. Yeah, the Thunderers just decide. I do prefer Quarrelers to Thunderers because gunpowder units have this tendency to just not fire. And you look at the terrain and there's not really anything obvious that's blocking them. But I'll take it with a loss of 2 dwarfs. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and occupy. Got ourselves another rank. That's nice. Let's occupy.
It's not home, but it'll do.
So Magathkin is down to a single settlement now, I believe. And this is not them. I guess this is them, Lair of the Troll King. Okay, that's part of our province. It's worth 285. We now have, what, 700 almost? 600 something? Where are we at here? 649, okay. Alright, and our province, we're 4 turns away from getting a population growth here. Let's take a look here at what we could do. This is going to cost 2,500, but we don't have the growth for it yet. This is probably not a building that I'm going to keep long term. I'll keep it for now, but what we really want to do, that's not really a high priority. That's not really a high priority. Let me do it like this. I think, well, we have an open slot, but these are neither one of these. I guess we might as well do this because it does give us upkeep benefits and recruitment cost benefits. So since we have an open slot, we'll go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and also do some recruiting here. Well, actually, first of all, let's do this. Survivalist, you've got brass lunged, might be nice a little bit later, but for now we're going to give you hard to hit, because I almost always favor melee defense first. Same for you, hard to hit. And you get Blade Master. And then you'll get hard to hit. Okay. Now, recruiting units. Let me take a look again at each of these guys. You are not probably going to give any boosts at all. It wouldn't thematically make much sense to give you boosts to any Dwarven units. So I wouldn't think so. Now you might. Gotrek. You're probably mostly going to be boosting yourself, but there's a chance you might boost some other Slayers. Campaign movement range plus 10% for the accompanying Lord. That's going to be really nice. We can get that at 5. Okay. Alright, so these are all just whenever fighting particular types of enemies. Okay. They provide different benefits. Gotrik's Doom here. That's going to be his own personal battle improvement. So, oh, I've already given you your skill up. I know what I was doing. I wanted, oh, Slayer. There. Okay, so this makes sense. So even though right here with his Spirit of Grungni attribute, this trait, that doesn't affect Slayers, but we can affect Slayers once we go into the skill tree a little bit. So that will make sense. How much do we impact them? Well, plus 10%, plus 10%. Upkeep, minus 10%. That's all nice. It's not overpowered, but it does sort of mean thematically we know what we want to do with this army. And it makes sense if this is going to be sort of a kamikaze army. It probably makes sense to fill it with Slayers. Okay, then, so Master Engineers, that makes sense. Artillery and War Machines, okay, so going to be more of that. All right, so what about down here? Okay, this is another way to boost Slayers, so that's definitely something that we're going to want to do. Available at rank 6. Okay, very good, very good. Well, for now we'll boost him, and then at level 5 or 6 we'll start boosting some of the Slayers as well. What that means is... Oh, I know what I wanted to double check. If I do a search here for Minor... I don't know why it's... I guess it's not actually highlighting anything. Okay, so we don't have any... We don't do anything for Minors. We don't do anything for Warriors. If I do Slayer, fair number of things do light up. Okay. Alright, so, doesn't really matter now whether we take warriors or miners. So I think I'll go with the warriors, since I know how to use them a little bit better. And do I want to go ahead and recruit another lord? Probably not yet, because I can keep recruiting with this army for the time being. And we know we're going to want to go towards this direction. Okay, I think we're good. I've already looked at the diplomacy. I've already selected the technology. I think it's time to go ahead. Let me just review this. We did encounter some new factions. So let me check diplomacy again. Okay.
Kislev.
Ropsman clan. You are at war with the Goromadni tribe. You're not going to be long for this world, but it might be worth befriending you in the short run. But it's not a priority. I'm not going to do it just yet. Okay, let's go ahead and end our turn. What are we at? 43 minutes? Almost. Oh, I forgot to change my camera settings. Let me do that now while I'm thinking about it. Cinematic. This probably was a mod that I could have gotten away with using. We're going to leave you on medium. No, we're going to put you on cinematic. No, we're going to put you on low. We're going to put our allies on low. We're going to put our enemies on cinematic. And neutral factions on high. Okay. Yeah, I knew something was missing. Okay. Confederation, Wintertooth, and Aceling. Fair enough. Speed, plus 10% for infantry units. Upgrade airship hull to hardened hull. For all the spirit of Grungni's impeccable craftsmanship, the work on such a glorious feat of engineering is never truly complete. With some slight tinkering and reinforcement, the frame of the airship may yet still be improved. Okay. Fair enough. Got our trinket maker and beer hall. And our dwarf warriors. Okay. This army is now size 11. It could stand to get a little bit more replenishment. Lair of the Troll King here. This is a size 7. Let's just see Magathkin's army strength. They're probably strong enough that by the time we got there, they would be too strong for us. So we're going to keep recruiting for now. Let me take a look here at miners. Have miners been buffed? I can't remember if miners were buffed in this. They have armor piercing. Not really a big deal against Nurgle. I'm just going to keep going warriors. And actually, do I want to do any global recruiting? It is a little bit more expensive. Oh, that's not even global. That's the Spirit of Grungni. I should have done that last turn as well. Okay, no problem. Meanwhile, you can get up to 2. Income generated 300. Yeah, let's do it. We need all the money we can get. Research available. Gather the throngs. Recruitment cost for infantry units. Sounds probably like what we want to do, but let me just double check. Actually, we probably want this. We're going to want heavy Quernstones. Unless that's pronounced Cairnstones, but it's not spelled like Cairnstones. Okay, let's just check this out really quickly here. We have 649 still. 9 turns. So the idea is when this timer hits 0, it's just going to count up the number of grudges that you've got, and then you'll derive a benefit based on that. So at the rate we're going, maybe we can reach... We're at 24% already after one turn. Really after 2 turns, because we're not gaining any more this turn. So there's a good chance that we can get to this Trom here, the 3rd tier. Which would be good. That gives us at least some greens here. Okay. Don't think there's going to be much for us to do this turn other than the recruiting.
Lord of all.
Brotherhood of the Bear, is that any better for us? Not really. Ropsman clan, how much are you going to give us? You give us a trade agreement? Done. Okay.
Hear me roar.
And Boris, you want a trade agreement? Definitely.
Are better than one.
Definitely. Works for me. Hope you don't die too soon. And you'll take a trade agreement as well. Now, you're probably not going to survive for very long.
I am the fist of proud Kislev.
You will give me 134. If I also give you that, you'll give me 233. Sounds good. I don't see any reason not to accept those because we're very likely not going to tick off anybody that doesn't already hate us. And quite frankly, we want people to start attacking us so that I'd rather, in the early game, I'd rather be fighting battles with Malachi in our own territory where he can at least replenish afterwards. We have a fighting chance of survival, as opposed to when we go on the offensive and we go in enemy territory and we stop getting casualty replenishment and they'll have chances to reinforce. Yeah, that's when it's going to get ugly real fast. Okay, let's go ahead and do our intern. Our money situation certainly seems to be okay here in the early going. It makes me feel like I'm missing something. Incidentally, my kamikaze theme here for Malachi, my Slayer theme, is only for him. A regular lord, unless he's a Slayer lord, but a regular lord is not going to have to follow that same house rule. Okay, diplomatic relations plus 10 with dwarfs, very good. Confederated legendary lord, that might take us a little while, but we'll see. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Great Book of Grudges, legendary lords. Okay, so for example, now the lowest one is Thorek, interesting. So we need 15,000 total settled grudges to confederate him. And I'm assuming the others are going to be higher. No, they're not. They're all 15,000. Okay. All right. I don't even know why it's bothering to tell us what their current settled grudges are, unless... Is that what we get for... Is that what we get for confederating them? Otherwise, that number seems kind of irrelevant, because that's the number that you need to worry about. Anyway, we'll figure it out later. Building upgrade available, okay. 2,500, we're one turn away from being able to upgrade this. It's only 750, why not? Okay. And obviously we want to continue recruiting.
Only the toughest Dowie.
Or do we? Do we want to save room in this army for other things? Let's get some miners. They're very easily replaceable once we can recruit some other things. And meanwhile, Crack a Drek. You're still 2 turns away from being able to upgrade Sjatraken. Is that how you would say that? Something close to that. Research available. Heavy quernstones.
And maybe add roots.
Diplomacy.
Twist bent.
Born.
I just realized I didn't recruit everything that I can recruit. So let's definitely do that. We've got currently 5 dwarf warriors. We're recruiting 2 miners.
You grudges in the making.
We can do a third oh, we could do miners with blasting charges. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Okay. By the way, how much more are they to... let me go back into this. They're 101 versus 77. Not that big of a deal. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and end our turn. Kind of hoping the objective pops up to recruit another lord. Because I'd kind of hate to do that before we get that mission. Okay, not yet. Units recruited. We're also not counting towards the recruit 30 new units mission. Okay. I thought you were already one turn away. You're still one turn away. Okay. Or maybe did it cost us one to build this? I don't know. I'll have to look at it again. Well, actually, I can look at it from here, can't I? It's hard to tell, but yeah, it probably did, because everything else looks like it's taking population to build. That's fine. We're going to do one more warrior. Fair enough. Okay. We'll see how that works. Actually, we can do all that from...
Engineer.
We can do... You don't need to replenish anymore. We can do all that from here.
Keep that powder dry.
How are we looking here? They're at 7. Military presence is only 2. It's interesting. Okay, now let's go ahead and do it again. Very good. You cannot level up just yet. Okay, what am I forgetting? Diplomacy. I didn't think so. Okay. Oath gold. We've got 103 oath gold, but the forge has not opened up, so we need 200 oath gold before that opens up. Okay, and now that we're outside the settlement, we can actually see our little airship up here. I shouldn't say little, because it's gigantic. All right, here we go. Not a whole lot going on over the interns. Okay. Very good. We can see 2 Magathkin armies over here. Malakai's Adventure's unlocked. There's surely no better field test for the war machines of the Dowie than a Slayer's Path to Doom. Okay, well, let's check it out. Complete a mission. Any oath sworn to kin and ally alike must be upheld. Strike out against those who would threaten the forces of order. For honor demands action and the fulfillment of your duty. Malakai's Adventures can be started in the panel access. Okay, that's fine. We would get Adventure Cannoneers and some treasury. Okay, we got our population surplus. Let's go ahead and take care of that first while I'm thinking about it. Boom, done. Now you... If I were to go... If I were to go like this... Let me spin the camera here. How many turns are we looking at? We can get there in 2 turns, it looks like. Probably be faster, though, if I do... Well, no, not necessarily. I could just go into march stance. They're not going to attack me, not with these 2. Not with those 2 armies, they're not. Okay. So that's probably what we'll do. It does want me to upgrade right here. I don't know whether I have to be in regular stance or what to do that. If I were to build it, does it put me? It puts me in a stance airship camp. And if I switch back to this, then we'd lose the ability to do that. Okay. All right. Good to know. So we can do that.
Innovator.
Campaign movement disabled when recruiting. We can do that
I'll make you into
after a full move, but it's a little bit hard to tell whether... Let me just look at this one more time here. A little bit hard to tell whether if we did a full move here... No, we would not be able to reach next turn. Looks like we wouldn't be able to reach next turn, so we're not going to do that just yet. Okay, what we are going to do is we're going to recruit another lord. So this Demon Slayer, if I were to recruit him, he's going to be... No, because he's not... He's maybe not crazy. Like Malachi is crazy. The Demon Slayer is definitely not going to shy away from fights, but I don't want Malachi to lose his uniqueness by making that house rule apply to other lords. So I think we'll just leave it at just him. He's the only one who has to kamikaze if there is an enemy close enough to attack. So our choices here, let's just look and see what we got. We got physical resistance. We got Ancestral Blood, Grumnir. That's a good one also. They're both quite good. I wouldn't mind trying them out. Rune Lord, we already know. Rune Lords are good, but I already kind of know what they do. This Word Save is very nice. And then a regular Lord. Perceptive is not really one of my favorites. And neither is Ancestral Blood. Grungni, although, I mean, none of them are bad. I think we're going to go ahead and try this out. I don't see any reason not to take the physical resistance of 15%.
Demon Slayer. Your legs are only so long.
Okay. You now are going to... You're going to go in march stance. Full throttle here.
Time for a wander.
Into enemy territory. I should have at least looked at their faction strength to make sure that they don't have a third army floating around somewhere.
They're done with his wars.
Magathkin, no, we're fine. As long as nobody else declares war on us, we're fine. So you are just going to stay there. There's no switching your stance now. And we cannot do this yet, obviously, since you're not in the right stance. That leaves you... Just checking those out. Okay. That leaves you to do a little bit of recruiting. Now we probably need to start being a little bit more careful about our income situation. And I forgot to look at this. Okay, Malachi's adventures are a series of dangerous missions that permanently modify his artillery and war machine units, culminating in unique legendary battles and other rewards. There are 7 different adventures available to complete, each against different foes. Locked adventures become available after legendary battles of prior adventures are completed. Fair enough. Each adventure has 6 different missions and 1 legendary battle, each with their own conditions and rewards. This is awesome. An adventure's legendary battle only becomes available after a certain number of its missions are completed in any order, some of which grant bonuses to the unit being modified. Okay, so you don't have to do them all necessarily. Here you can see details of the adventure's narrative and what you will likely be doing during each mission. The foes to be faced in the adventure's legendary battle are displayed here above a list of rewards gained for completing the battle. Okay, seems pretty straightforward. The unit being modified during the adventure is displayed here above a list of rewards gained from completing the adventure's mission. Okay. Finally, starting an adventure costs treasury and adds the artillery or war machine being modified to the higher mercenaries panel. Okay. Okay, check right there. Okay, so starting out with cannons, if we start the adventure, spend gold to begin the currently selected adventure. The current adventure here is Dragon's Bane. A number of mountain holds have been devastated by a vicious dragon, leaving countless dwarfs dead and homeless. The wretched monster may leave the protection of the High Elves, but this cannot go unavenged. The cannons are freshly cooled from the forge. It is time to hunt down the drake and blast it from its lair into oblivion. Okay. Face the High Elves in battle, fight in mountain climates, decide the fate of the dwarf refugees. Okay. Very interesting. Facing High Elves. Okay, and so if we started it, is that going to impact us? I'm not going to start it just yet because we really need to, now that we've moved into Magathkin territory, we really need to focus on that for this turn. So I'll start this next turn. Unfortunately, it's probably going to have to be at the beginning of the next episode. Reload time reduction, experience gain, grape shot, recruit rank, all looks good to me. We will definitely get on that as soon as it makes sense to. And let's go ahead. You can't recruit anymore. You can't recruit globally. You obviously can't recruit anymore. Let's go ahead and check our diplomacy out. We're at 84. We've lost a little bit of strength. That's just because we recruit slower than everybody else probably. Luckily, our trading partners have not been wiped out yet, so that's a good thing.
I must delect.
And that's probably why our money situation is okay right now, because I've been spending money as fast as I can, but we're getting 872 per turn from trade, which is pretty good for the beginning of the game. All right, let's go ahead and see how Magathkin reacts to our very aggressive movement here. And they're going to react by running away. Not incredibly surprising. And poor old Dungrut is wounded. So he's not going to participate in this fight. We, of course, have a special fondness for Dungrut from having confederated him in our Kugath campaign. Okay. Got our technology researched. I meant to wait and make sure that I saw the save game message pop up, but I'm going to assume that that worked. Okay, you are not going to be able to reach this battle.
What?
I am going to go ahead and apply these ranks.
The past is the past.
And move this army
Engineer. Oh, aye.
into position. It's still a smallish garrison.
Degenerate.
Festergax. We know Festergax as well. Okay. Must be a common Nurgle Lord name. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and lay siege. It does look like these guys, the Plague Chosen the Gardener here, it's an interesting spelling of Gardener. Doesn't it normally have another E there before the N? Anyway, maybe I'm wrong about that. Let's go ahead and, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Decisive victory. We're not going to fight it in this episode. This will be how we start episode number 2. So how's that for an exciting cliffhanger? So we're going to go ahead and call this one there. Thank you all so much for watching, and looking forward to seeing how far we make it in this campaign before I get my butt kicked. All right, I will see you in the next episode.